just to give everybody a little preamble about how we know each other. Mark and I met maybe 18 years ago on a feature film called White Angel, which you were in, and then you subsequently came on to Urban Ghost Story, and eventually worked on Gone Fishing. So we've had a long history of working together, and through all of that time, you've always, you know, with a hammer in one hand and a nail gun in the other hand, you've always said, you know,
and actually, a tube of mastic,
and a tube of mastic, and a bit of MDF. You've always said, I want to produce, so tell us about that journey, because you know you have a day job which is basically, you know, building kitchens and stuff, and then you have another job which is being a film producer.
Well, I mean, what can I say? You know, it's just it's one big juggling match, pal, and just holding on to that dream and just keep going. And as I've said to you on many occasions, you know, it's your fault. You gave me that bug, and I cannot, you know, I can't put that down. I love all the aspects of filmmaking, and it's a place where you come alive, and it's that's it. You know? Yeah,
I often refer to it as a disease that we're all infected with.
Absolutely, and as I touched on other occasions, we have to earn our living, and some people, they can go straight there, and some of us go all over the place. I've slowly meandered, but kept the goal.
Yeah, it's one of those things. When I run 2-day workshops, I always say to people, you know, being brilliant and writing great scripts and doing all that stuff, that's not the big challenge that you face. The challenge you face is surviving, going from oasis to oasis, these little oases of production, and then you've got the drought called development. And anyway, so tell us, you know, you have two very specific skills that I want to talk about on the show. One is production design and set building, and the other is producing and the more aspirational side of that. Tell us some of the things you've learnt about building low-budget sets, in direct relation, I guess, to SUS.
I mean, it's always the confines of the budget, and I think you know, you've given me that compliment in the past, which says I'll give you no money, but I expect you to come up with the dream that I want, and it. In some ways, it seems easy to say, but we have to constantly think out of the box and actually think, right, we don't have any money. How can we do this? How can we go and get the best deals, etc., etc., and still bring about the dream that we want to do? In many ways, it's hard to answer, and then it's easy.
Let's talk about some practical stuff, though. I mean, when you're building a set with no money, and you've got to make it look like an interrogation room, like the one in SUS, how do you go about doing that?
Well, for argument's sake, where we did it at Ealing, I mean, for a start, the floor is concrete, so you've got an instant challenge, unlike when we did Urban Ghost Story here, which is all wooden floors and all the rest. So fortunately at Elstree, where we were, you know, you've got a load of flying chains and all the rest, so we can use that in regard to supporting it. But how we prop off the floor, so it's defined by budget, Chris. I cannot say any more than that. It is defined by budget, and you look at what you've got, and we've got our 3B1, we've got our ply, we've got our bulk standard materials that we're going to use, and go from there. I mean, you know, and then work out where we're going to put our doors. Of course, we've sat down, worked out all our particular camera angles, what walls we want flying out. The big thing is money and being extremely clever with that.
Right.
And in fact, we're not going to waste it. We don't. We'll just throw it away.
Right. So, but SUS is quite unique because it is set in one
room, and that is extremely advantageous.
Right.
You know.
So if it wasn't set in one room, if it was set in multiple rooms, I guess it would be locations.
Yeah.
You know, on this kind of cash-strapped budget.
Yeah.
So tell me about the key relationships you as a production designer have, and how to best manage those relationships. Who is the important crew members you need to work closely with in order to get the right vision on screen?
Well, you know, again, budget. We're looking at the script, etc., and saying, right, what particular, what are our confines here? What direction we're going on there? Because I am practical, because I can actually build it as well. You're looking at it from that angle, from the art direction angle, and you know, you're just building all those particular facets together. So yeah, you're dealing with your fellow co-producers. You're looking at it and saying, right, this is how we want it to work. Our particularly putting where our doors are going to go, exits, entrances, to make it more interesting in that regard, and what walls we're going to fly out. So the confines of being in one room is the fact that the size of it, you've got to think about, right, how we're going to get crew in, etc.
So in some ways you're working more with the producers than you are with maybe the DP or the director.
Yes.
Or is there a constant?
There is a constant discussion, and because within this particular film, you know, people have that producing role as well. So there's that constant discussion. You know.
Right. And is it possible to overbuild a set? You know, because you know, you look at it and you go, nobody'd ever buy that. You know, there's an instinct you get when you walk into a set that it just doesn't look real, and yet photographically the magic happens and it becomes real. But do you kind of instinctively overbuild? Do you think there's a problem there?
Well, the bottom line is that we have to build things that are going to stand up and as safety, right? And I can give you a number of different of examples where people are not using the right materials, and then we wonder why the thing actually falls down. No, I don't think on one level we can overbuild. The bottom line is it's the surfaces that we put on.
Right.
And very often, and again, that comes down to money, you know.
Okay.